Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is June 27, 2022, and today is Monday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the U.S. markets continue to climb and rebound after a massive sell-off. But first, no major economic events scheduled for today, and as a result of the U.S. markets rebounding, so are the major pairs. The major Forex pairs are rebounding versus the U.S. dollar. Now looking at the indices, as spoken, the U.S. markets and the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ both rebounding. Now looking at commodities, gold pretty much unchanged, while oil slightly gains to 107 per barrel. Now looking at the stocks, it's Microsoft and Apple that were the biggest gainers. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin still unchanged at 21,000 at that lower end of that range. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're looking at a daily chart of the Eur Usd. As you can see here, we are bouncing that. Look at that double bottom at that 103, and we are at that top of that range. So all heads and shoulders. This is a heads and shoulder. That would be one head. That's a shoulder. That's a second shoulder. So generally speaking, this is a bearish move. So if it does not break above this 105.60-ish level and doesn't climb higher, we could see it retrace here as well. Now looking at the Gbp Usd, also got that bounce, but this is not as clear head and shoulders. If you can see here, that rebound, but it's not pushing higher. So keep that in motion and keep that in sight. Looking at the Australian dollar, 69.25 right here. Also did climb, it did regain some momentum, but nothing to really write home about as it's not pushing above that 69-ish level. Now jumping into commodities, gold really much unchanged at 1834, not doing much there. Looking at crude oil though, finally bouncing off of that 102, 103 level last week. So that's a decent bounce. Let's see if it does push above it, okay? It's a choppy kind of trading atmosphere. There is a minor resistance at this 107 as well. Now looking at the Dow Jones did climb quite aggressively last week to 31,450-ish level, and now it's pushing a little bit higher right now this morning to 500-ish level. Altogether, it did bounce nicely from that 29,800-ish level from last week. Now looking at the NASDAQ as well, did bounce to 12,141. That's over a 1,000-point move as well. Now looking at the individual stocks, Apple was really the biggest gainer, 141. And if we look at Microsoft, also gaining quite nicely to 267. Now this still has room to move on the upside, okay? Just keep that in mind. What I don't like about this is that if you look at the volume, it's lesser volume. If we look at Facebook, if we look at Apple or Alcoa, it's lesser volume. So it's going higher on lesser volume, which states that it's not sustainable. Okay, so keep that in mind. The Dow Jones here also on lower volume, that massive spike. So that's not buying, that's short squeeze. Okay, so I do anticipate we'll see lows again in both of them as we continue trading for the rest of the summer. Now looking at Bitcoin, okay, the last one of the lot, above 21,000. Okay, so just keeping itself above water here. We do have support at 20,500, so keep that in sight, because if it does break that 21,500 and we do get some momentum moving, we could see it continue to retrace as well. This is Fred Razak, and I wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.